As the bus passed over the bridge, Sam was shocked to see a huge hole cut into the road for maintenance. Through the hole, he could see the deep ocean far below. The height made his head spin and his stomach drop. Only when the bus slowly rolled past did Sam finally relax. But the next second, the bus suddenly stopped due to traffic. He was thrown forward by the brakes and got cut by a sharp piece of metal sticking out from the seat. Just then, a strong gust of wind swept across the bridge. The whole structure began to shake. The workers didn't notice that behind them, the edge of the hole had started to crack. The crack spread fast in all directions. The steel cables snapped loudly under pressure. Metal rods beneath the bridge twisted and bent. Then, right in front of everyone, the bridge began to collapse. Sam grabbed his girlfriend Molly and ran. The rest of the passengers also panicked and rushed off the bus. Candace jumped over the guardrail just before the section she was on gave way. But she couldn't escape in time. She fell with the concrete into the sea and was tragically impaled by the mast of a sailboat below. Peter, her boyfriend, froze in shock after watching her die. Sam had to pull him away before it was too late. Meanwhile, Isaac had just stepped out of the restroom. He was stunned by what he saw. The bus slid off the tilted bridge and fell straight down. Isaac was thrown toward the windshield and plunged into the ocean along with the vehicle. Sam and the others ran as fast as they could toward the edge, but the collapse was faster. The falling bridge blocked their escape. They had no choice but to crawl across the steel beam like a tightrope. The strong wind made the beam shake violently. Still, Molly carefully climbed across, but Olivia bumped into someone while running. Her glasses fell to the ground. Without them, she couldn't see a thing. She froze in place, terrified. Sam turned back and helped her. He gently guided Olivia forward and even let her go first. Olivia crawled slowly, shaking all over. Just when she was about to make it, the bridge shook again. The steel beam bent under pressure. Olivia slipped and fell straight down. Luckily, she could swim and managed to stay afloat. But the next second, a car came crashing down from above and landed right on top of her in the water. Meanwhile, the snapped steel cable yanked up a metal pillar from the ground, spinning it through the air and smashing Nathan to pieces as he ran. Steel cables around Sam also began to snap, and the bridge's tilt grew even worse. As more and more cables tore apart, people could no longer keep their balance. One by one, they slipped and fell. Dennis, the company boss, managed to grab onto a steel beam at the edge. A chunk of raised concrete tipped over a truck full of hot asphalt. The burning asphalt poured down instantly, completely covering him. At that moment, Peter came running in. He leapt through the air and grabbed onto a railing sticking out. Sam also sprinted forward and jumped up just before the collapsing bridge gave way. Just when they thought they were safe, the section they were on started tilting too. A truck beside them tipped over, causing heavy steel bars to slide down. In seconds, they pierced right through Peter's body. Sam scrambled to climb up, but a steel plate came crashing down the next second, cutting him clean in half. When Sam came to, he realized he was still inside the bus. Suddenly, the bus hit the brakes. Sam was cut by the same sharp metal piece from earlier. It was exactly like the dream he just had. He shouted that the bridge was going to collapse, then pulled his girlfriend Molly and ran off the bus. Boss Dennis and a few coworkers concerned followed them. A moment later, massive cracks appeared on the bridge. Those who had gotten off early ran for their lives and escaped just in time before the bridge collapsed. Everyone else was swallowed by the sea. Sam's co-workers were stunned, and the police, equally shocked, interrogated him harshly, but they found nothing. The investigation report later confirmed that the disaster was caused by strong winds and structural damage from ongoing construction. In the end, they had no choice but to let Sam go. But after attending their co-worker's funeral, a strange man suddenly called out to Sam and Peter. He claimed that death hated being cheated and warned them to be careful from now on. Sam seemed thoughtful, but Peter just thought the guy was crazy. He didn't take it seriously and went to watch his girlfriend Candace at gymnastics practice. Because the air conditioner in the gym was broken, they had to use fans to cool the place down. No one noticed that a power cable had been stripped of its rubber covering. A maintenance worker started fixing the AC. Right behind him, the pipes began shaking. Soon, water from the condensation started dripping along the seams. At that moment, Candace was on the balance beam, performing her routine. She had no idea there was a puddle forming near the exposed wire. The shaking pipes got worse. A screw finally came loose and dropped straight onto the balance beam. Candace danced her way across, her feet landing dangerously close to the screw each time. Luckily, she didn't step on it. She finished her routine smoothly and hopped down. She walked to the side to wipe off her sweat as water started slanting toward her foot. She casually tossed her towel on the ground and once again narrowly avoided danger. Then she moved to the uneven bars for her next routine, unaware that one of the bar's screws was a little loose. Meanwhile, another girl stepped onto the balance beam. She flipped, twisted, and finally landed right on that same screw. Crying in pain, she fell off, accidentally knocking over a bowl of chalk powder. The fan nearby blew the powder into the air. She lost her grip and crashed to the ground. Her limbs twisted horribly, and she died on the spot. After hearing the news, Sam rushed to the hospital to offer comfort, but he accidentally spotted that strange man watching them from afar. When he looked again carefully, the man had vanished without a trace. Candace's death made the whole company feel gloomier, but Isaac, who loved taking advantage of situations, was actually thrilled. He opened the drawers of the deceased one by one, digging for valuables. In one drawer, he only found a massage therapy voucher. After work, he went straight to the spa to use it, but the old lady's massage strength was unbearable. She even twisted a screw loose from the table leg. Then she soaked a towel in alcohol, sterilized some needles, and gave him a full-body acupuncture session. Once Isaac started to relax, she turned off the lights and stepped out. Suddenly, an eerie breeze blew into the room. The incense stick, already burning low, snapped and fell. Within moments, it ignited the alcohol-soaked towel beneath it. Isaac, unable to move, started screaming for help, but the room was too well soundproofed. No one heard him. He wriggled on the bed in panic, causing another screw to fall off. The bed collapsed, slamming Isaac face first onto the floor. The alcohol barrel tipped over too, spilling liquid that spread quickly beneath him. That's when he finally woke up from the shock. He struggled to get up and painfully pulled the needles from his body. Just as he was about to leave, he heard a buzzing sound. He saw a vibrating phone knock over a candle. The flame instantly ignited the alcohol on the floor. Terrified, he backed into a wooden board and knocked it down. Luckily, the fire hadn't spread far. Isaac breathed a sigh of relief, but in the very next second a loose board above him gave way, and a heavy Buddha statue crashed down. Meanwhile, the police were still investigating Candace's death at the gym, but no matter how many times they tried, they couldn't recreate the scene. The remaining survivors rushed over after hearing about Isaac's death, but Sam once again spotted that strange man at the scene. Feeling suspicious, he marched over and confronted him. The man introduced himself as Bloodworth. He worked as a coroner. Because he dealt with the dead all the time, he had seen things like this before. He explained that survivors who escaped disasters always ended up dying later in freak accidents. Bloodworth believed there was only one way to cheat death. Someone else had to die in your place.
Wait a minute. We kill someone, we get their life? Is that what you're telling me?
He quickly added that he didn't make the rules. He was just the cleanup guy. Everyone was shocked by what he said. But with so many co-workers dying one after another, they couldn't ignore his words. That's when Sam remembered something. In his dream, Molly didn't die. She survived and escaped. Peter grew furious when he heard this. Why did his girlfriend Candace die first, while Molly got to live till the end? Nathan stepped in and tried to calm Peter down, but the grief of losing Candace and the pressure of being next on the list had already pushed Peter toward madness. Still, they didn't have time to deal with him. They needed to warn the others. At that moment, Olivia had already arrived at the hospital to get laser surgery for her nearsightedness. The recent disaster still haunted her. She was determined to ditch her glasses and finally see the world clearly. The doctor handed her a teddy bear to help her relax, then strapped her head in place and clamped her eyelids open. All the prep made her incredibly nervous. She squeezed the teddy bear so hard that its eye popped off and fell to the ground. Right then, the doctor noticed some missing data and stepped out to grab the paperwork. Now pressure in the water dispenser built up. Bubbles rose. The nearby paper cup got knocked off and spilled water onto the wires. This shorted the cooling system. The laser machine's readings began to spike. That sharp buzzing sound made Olivia uneasy. She tried to reach for the control panel, but accidentally knocked it down, causing it to hit the power switch. Without cooling, the laser turned on automatically and instantly burned her eye. Olivia struggled to break free. Just then, the next wave of laser beams fired again, slashing across her hand as she tried to block them. Sam and Molly finally arrived at the hospital. Olivia had just broken free from the head clamp. Blinded, she heard their voices and turned toward them, but in the very next second, she stepped on the teddy bear's loose eye, smashed through the glass, and fell straight out the window. After getting home, Sam carefully studied the deaths of his co-workers. To his shock, they had died in the exact same order as in his dream, and next on the list was Nathan. At that moment, Nathan was arguing with a worker. The next second, they noticed a tower crane moving toward them. Sparks were flying from the nearby power lines. Soon, the hook stopped right above their heads. Sensing danger, Nathan told the worker to get out of there. The man thought Nathan wanted to fight, so he started pushing back. Just then, the giant hook suddenly broke loose and dropped. Nathan shoved the worker out of the way as hard as he could. The worker fell straight down and got impaled through the chin by the hook, dying on the spot. Meanwhile, Peter found Dennis and told him everything about the death list and how to escape it. But Dennis thought Peter was insane. Peter didn't argue, he just left. When Peter heard what happened and rushed back to the workshop, he saw Nathan standing there completely unharmed. Even though it seemed like a coincidence, Nathan had to admit he accidentally caused the worker's death. Peter was thrilled to hear that, because it proved what the coroner Bloodworth said was true. If someone else dies in your place, you get skipped on death's list. Right then, Dennis arrived and asked what was going on. But the very next second, the wrench was flung from the gear mechanism, spinning through the air and smashing straight into Dennis's head. Dennis's death caused the entire company to shut down. Sam had no choice but to take a job in a restaurant kitchen. He believed that if death really wanted him, he wouldn't be safe no matter where he was. All he could do now was stay alert and watch the small details around him. Just as he thought that, a metal skewer from the roasting rack nearly stabbed him. After that scare, he worked extra carefully the whole day. Luckily, nothing happened, not even by closing time. That night, after the restaurant shut down, Sam and Molly celebrated surviving another day. But they didn't know that Agent Block had been secretly watching Sam, convinced that he was hiding something. Suddenly, there was a knock at the restaurant door. They weren't scared, because the one outside wasn't Death, it was Peter. Judging by his tired, sunken face, Peter had clearly been under serious mental stress. For days, he had been wondering, could he actually kill someone else, so a stranger could die in his place? He had even tried walking toward a woman standing by the street, ready to push her in front of a truck. But when the truck passed, he didn't move, because deep down, he wasn't a cold-blooded killer. He was just a man being driven mad by death. But now he had someone in mind. If all the survivors were doomed, why should Molly get to live? As soon as he pulled the trigger, Sam flipped the table over. Then he grabbed Molly and ran straight into the kitchen. Agent Block heard the gunshot from outside and immediately called for backup. Meanwhile, Sam made a decision. He would distract Peter and told Molly to hide. After all, he was already on Death's list. Even if Peter killed him, it wouldn't change anything. Just as Sam expected, Peter didn't shoot him directly. Instead, he fired at a nearby gas pipe. Then he rushed forward and knocked Sam out. The force sent a kitchen knife spinning through the air, but it barely missed Sam and stabbed into the floor beside him. Molly was trembling in the corner, trying not to make a sound. Peter turned on all the kitchen burners, then yelled that if she didn't come out, he'd help Death finish off Sam right now. Terrified, Molly picked up a kitchen knife, determined to fight back. She kept her eyes locked on Peter as he stepped closer. But the figure who appeared next wasn't Peter, it was Agent Block. Molly shouted for help, but a second later, Peter fired from behind and shot Agent Block down. Peter had finally succeeded. He had taken someone else's life and believed he'd skipped his turn on Death's list, but he wasn't done yet. Since Molly saw everything, he couldn't let her live. She ran as fast as she could. Peter chased her. But just then, Sam woke up and tackled him to the ground. Sam grabbed a frying pan and smacked the gun right out of Peter's hand. Soon, Peter overpowered Sam and slammed him to the floor. Molly rushed to help, but Peter threw her across the room. He picked up a kitchen knife, ready to end Molly's life for good. But in the very next second, a roasting skewer came down from above and pierced right through Peter's body. Sam had saved Molly just in time. Just as they were celebrating survival, the overheated gun suddenly fired, but only shattered a glass nearby. This proved that by killing Peter, Sam had successfully escaped Death's list. 2 weeks later, Sam and Molly boarded a plane for vacation. They noticed a group of students being kicked off, which Sam found odd, but ignored. What he didn't realize was they were on the doomed Flight 180. Moments later, Sam cut his finger again. Then he heard someone say, one of the students had a terrifying vision of the plane crashing. Right after, the wing outside burst into flames. An explosion ripped through the cabin. A hole opened beside them. Molly was sucked out and torn in half by the plane's tail. Sam was caught in the blast and burned alive. The plane broke apart in the sky. Its landing gear, still on fire, plummeted toward the city below. At that moment, Nathan was at a memorial service for the dead worker. He had just learned the man had a brain tumor and would have died anyway. As he wondered if that still counted as cheating death, the fiery landing gear crashed through the roof and killed him instantly.